Well, hello, it's Miss Gina, and we're on chapter 10. We're going to dive right in. It's called An Unexpected Help, and we're on page 93 of Strange Things Are Happening in Creepers, the Gravedigger. The lightning cracked through the window in Paula's bedroom, forcing her to pull the covers up to just below her chin. Just like the first night they arrived, there was another power outage. This time, however, everyone was too tired to play hide and seek and instead decided to go to bed early. Paula didn't want to say anything to Jamie earlier as they climbed the staircase on their way to bed, but she had a horrible feeling that something bad was going to happen tonight. Maybe if she had said something, Jamie would have told her that he had the same feeling. Now she was just counting the seconds between each bolt of lightning and roar of thunder. Paula wasn't happy in her new house, but she was still trying to make the best of it for her dad. And so was Jamie, and she turned her head to the side with every bolt of lightning. She could see the rain running down the window pane in the long, thin streams. Her eyes felt heavy, and she started to doze off. It wasn't so much as a bang that woke her up, more that something had moved at the bottom of her bed. As she slowly opened her eyes, she felt it again. The bottom of Paula's bed was lifting up and dropping back down onto the carpet. As she sat up, the front of her bed started to lift higher and higher and drop faster and faster. Then suddenly it just stopped. I know, thought Paula. It must be Wolfie or Mummy underneath my bed trying to scare me. Paula slowly crept to the bottom of her bed on her hands and knees, and as quick as she could, she pulled up her bed sheets and stuck her head under the bed. "Gotcha!" she yelled, expecting to see one of her ghost friends, but there was no one under her bed. Where could they have gone, she thought as she sat back up. Then she felt it again. This time the bed lifted high off the ground and dropped back onto the floor with a heavy thud. Now Paula was really starting to get scared. If it's a ghost, why can't I see it? "Who's there?" she yelled out across her room. But there was silence. At first, Paula was so busy listening for noises that she didn't realize the front of her bed was slowly lifting again. Then it dropped straight onto the floor with a loud crash and lifted again and dropped again and lifted and dropped and lifted and dropped. Paula was screaming, "Dad! Jamie! Help me!" She yelled over and over again until her door was kicked open. "Dad! Jamie! Help me!" Instantly, her bed slammed down onto the floor. Her dad was standing in the doorway with Jamie behind him. "What's wrong, Paula?" she shouted as they raced to her bed. "There's something under my bed, Dad, and I don't know what it is. I can't see it. Dad, and I don't know what it is. I can't see it," she said. Jamie looked under her bed and saw nothing there. "There's nothing under your bed, Paula," he said to his little sister. Andrew held Paula in his arms. "You had a bad dream, Paula, that's all," he said. "Everyone has bad dreams." "This wasn't a bad dream, Dad," she said. "It was real. The bed was lifting up and dropping really fast." Her father looked into her tearful eyes and said, "It wasn't real, Paula. It just felt real, that's all." Jamie looked under the bed again. Without raising his head, he said to his father, "Dad, I really think you should come here and see this." Jamie's dad climbed down beside Jamie and peered under the bed. Jamie pointed to the marks on Paula's carpet that the leg of the bottom of her bed had made, and there were lots of marks. Paula's bed had obviously been moving. "Paula, I don't want you to panic," said her dad, "but get out of your bed slowly and stand behind me." Jamie and his dad stood up and slowly made their way to the door with Paula. It was still dark in the room and very difficult to see where they were going. Every time there was a bolt of lightning, it allowed Jamie to see the whole room light up for a split second. As Jamie turned to see his father and sister, a bolt of lightning lit up something that was floating on the other side of the room. Jamie couldn't see what it was, but he knew it was getting closer and closer. "Look out, Jamie!" yelled his father as he pushed Jamie out of the way onto the ground. As Jamie fell, he heard a smash and his father landed on top of him. He could see he had been knocked unconscious by a vase. Paula stood in the middle of the floor screaming at the top of her lungs. All around her, things were falling off the walls, pictures, ornaments, and toys. "Jamie, help me!" she yelled. "I can't, Paula. I'm trapped. Dad's on my legs. I can't get them free," he shouted back. In the middle of the havoc, Jamie was thankful to see Lex Killen. "I'll help you, Jamie," he screamed as he tried to push Jamie's dad off his legs. Behind Jamie, Paula's bedroom door was kicked open, and in the doorway stood Ebenezer Crim with his machine strapped to him. "Leave us alone," yelled Jamie. He looked down at Jamie and Lex Killen on the floor and then over to Paula, who was crying on the floor in the middle of the room. "No one was supposed to get hurt, Gravedigger," screamed Ebenezer over the noise. "Get out of here!" Crim roared a deep voice from the darkness of Paula's room. The bedroom door slammed closed again. Jamie could see Ebenezer Crim had his foot jammed in the door. He took off his machine, switched it on, and threw it to Jamie. "Jamie, use this," he shouted. "What do I do?" asked Jamie. "Just pick it up, flip the switch, and point it at the Gravedigger." Jamie stretched out his hands. He could barely reach the machine and had to push his father off his legs a little more before he finally reached to grab it. As he spun around with the machine, he could see two Lex Killens side by side. The one on the left shouted, "Jamie, kill the other one. I'm the real Lex." Page 100. "No, Jamie," the one on the right shouted, "I'm the real Lex." Paula was still screaming in the middle of the floor. Jamie looked at one Lex and then the other and couldn't tell them apart. "Do it, Jamie! Kill him now!" screamed the Lex on the left. Jamie spun the machine around to the other one. "I don't know which one is which," Jamie shouted to Mr. Crim. "We'll suck them both up," he shouted. As Jamie prepared to turn the machine on, the Lex on the right tried to say something. As a bolt of lightning lit up the room, Jamie saw him spit out some salt water. "That's good enough for me," he shouted as he flipped the switch and pointed it on the one on the left, sucking him inside instantly before he could try and get away. "Turn the machine off," yelled the real Lex. Page 100. Killen, who was holding on to Paula's wardrobe to stop himself being sucked inside, Jamie turned it off, and the room fell silent. Paula stopped screaming, and their father began to wake up. Jamie turned to Ebenezer Crim and said something he never thought he would ever say. "Thank you." Chapter 11. Here we go again. "That's the last of it," said Andrew. As he strapped the final box to the roof of the car, Jamie and Paula were glad, even though the Gravedigger was gone. Everyone was still relieved that they didn't have to live in that house anymore. Even the ghosts were relieved. As a way of saying thank you to Ebenezer Crim for helping save their lives, Andrew agreed to sell him their house in the graveyard. As the car rolled out of the driveway for the last time with Jamie, Andrew, and Paula inside, Jamie looked back over his shoulder to the house that was his home for such a short time. He wasn't sad. He wasn't sad he was leaving. He just wanted to have one last look. Ebenezer Crim stood at the gate watching them leave, even though he now owned the house he'd always wanted. He still wouldn't smile. He just stood at the gate staring after them. "So, Dad, about this new house," said Paula. "Where exactly is it?" "It's about a 2-mile drive from here," replied her father, "and it's a surprise." "Can you tell us any more than that?" Jamie asked him. "I'll tell you one thing," he said. "Your new house used to be an old church." "An old church!" yelled Jamie and Paula together. "Have you lost your mind?" asked Jamie. His father just laughed, glancing at them in the rearview mirror. He gave them that silly smile, winked, and said, "Aw, come on, kids. Trust me." Jamie and Paula looked at each other in disbelief. "Oh no," said Paula. "Here we go again." And that was the end of our Gravedigger's tale. I hope you've enjoyed that. Happy Halloween. Be sure and get you lots of chocolates and sweets today. Trick or treat. Trick or treat. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.